What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Art of War stream. This is a Codex review for the new Adeptus Mechanicus 10th edition book, and I am super excited about it. Admech is one of those factions that kind of got the shorter end of the stick in the indexes.
You don't say.
Really?
Yeah, I really did.
But they really prospered quite a bit in 9th edition when they finally got their Codex, and I'm hoping for the same type of bump, although probably not to the same extreme as 9th edition, where there's just more play styles, there's more options for Admech, more interesting combinations, and I think we're going to get that with this Codex. So very excited to go and break down the book with everybody. And in the meanwhile, if you like this type of content, please subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about us, leave a comment below letting us know what you're most excited about in the Admech book, and any questions that you have for us. And in addition, if you want more Admech content, there is going to be, by the time of this release, an Admech versus Necrons, both new codexes head-to-head in our war room, the warroom.vhx.tv, 3-day free trial. And on top of that, there is a special Black Friday sale. Use the promo code BECOMEYOURBEST in order to access 50% off your first month of the War Room. And you get all 3 stream games a week, all the extra video content we put out every single week. Try it out. You're going to be amazed at what's in there.
Really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, see, this is probably your favorite army?
This is definitely one of them.
Maybe, yeah.
The aesthetic and the lore of it is probably my favorite in the game. Mm-hmm. I just love the way the army looks and functions. Yeah. As somebody who's a doctor myself, the thirst for knowledge and seeking out xenotech and all that stuff is just fascinating. So really love the lore and aesthetic of this army a lot.
All right. We want to go ahead and dive right in. So a lot of it has changed, but most of it, like the data sheets and stuff, are pretty similar to how they were.
Exactly. If we think back to Space Marines and Tyranids, they got their kind of main detachment got tweaked a little bit. Mm-hmm. They got a bunch of new detachments that do all new sorts of things and open up new playstyles. And then most of the data sheets remained roughly the same, maybe with some small tweaks here and there. So we're going to go through all of that. There's been some nice data sheet changes where units are much improved, in my opinion, and we'll get to those. But I'm really excited about the detachments in here, especially I think 2 of them are very strong. A third one is going to require some actual practice on the table. Mm-hmm. And then one of them is not great, but that is okay.
It happens to the best of us.
Exactly. That one is just for fluff players, and that's okay. All right, so let's start here. We're going to go through it in order, starting with the army rule, then the detachments, and then we are going to focus on the different data sheets. Mm-hmm. All right, so Doctrina Imperatives, they remain exactly the same. You select one of the 2 different ones, whether Protector or Conqueror, at the start of the battle rounds, and until the end of it, you get one of them. So Protector remains heavy, as well as if you're within your deployment zone, -1 to armor penetration. And then Conquer Imperative is you gain the Assault keyword, which is very useful, and +1 AP if your opponent's within their deployment zone. So these army rules don't change. They don't help melee, and that's the big miss here.
Yes.
And we're going to see that throughout this book. There is no sweet melee style that existed in 9th edition, and I'm a bit sad about that. However, there is a very, very cool, interesting Skitarii build that makes up for it. Yeah. Okay, so heading on to the first detachment. It was the Rad Cohort detachment, is now the Rad-zone core. And its detachment rule is similar, but
much better.
Quite a bit improved, quite a bit. And honestly, you heard me talk about it. It was the worst one.
Oh, it was terrible.
People were like, oh, but maybe... And let me stop you right there. It is the worst by far. It was terrible. It actively hurt Admech in multiple matchups. Now the concept, unfortunately, remains the same, but there are other options, so thankful. But it is much, much better. Mm-hmm. So... Battle round 1, you do the bombardment. Start of the first battle round, your opponent, for any of the units that are within their deployment zone, not wholly within, just within, on a 3-up, your opponent chooses one of 2 effects. The first one is, on a 3-up, their unit suffers D3 mortals, and that's it. The other one is, until the end of the battle round, that unit is battle shocked, but on a 5-up, they still take D3 mortals. So... Now it's a real question which one your opponent's going to pick. It's not automatic. I'll just be battle shocked. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's turn 1. Now they can still take the mortals while being battle shocked.
Yeah, it's a real which we should use.
And you're battle shocked the whole battle round, so it can be
stratagem that is kind of annoying.
Yep. Then, or you want to do an action that prevents it from happening, there are reasons. Then battle round 2 onwards, still goes off at the start of your command phase. You roll a 3-up, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and they must take a battle shock
This
test.
is legitimately pretty good.
Yep.
This is like a legit rule.
It is legit because, once again, it's just enemy unit within their deployment zone. So just constantly, not only chip mortals, but battle shock tests. And most armies will start failing those at some point.
Eventually.
In addition, so that's the army rule. The enhancements. There's a couple changes here. The first one is that there's a brand new one. The old control staff upgrade for the Marshal is switched into the Skitarii veteran cohort. So instead you have radial suffusion, which is a nice upgrade. Goes on an Admech character. From the second battle round onwards, when you resolve the effect of the Rad bombardment, you, if the bearer's on the battlefield, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 6 of your opponent's deployment zone, in addition to those that are within their deployment zone.
This is really good.
Once again, it's not wholly within 6, it's just within 6 of their deployment zone. It dramatically increases that range, and anybody trying to string back is further punished.
Yes.
So this is a big deal. It really makes this quite impactful.
Agreed.
Then you have Malphonic Sussers. While the bear is leading, models in the unit have stealth, same as before. It's a solid ability. It's a little pricey previously, but it's okay. Usually goes on a character leading a breacher team.
Yep.
Then we have Peerless Eradicator. This used to be Master Annihilator. It is sustained 1 for the unit that's being led by the character for ranged weapons.
Not bad.
And then Autoclavic Denunciation. It used to be the Omni-Sterilizer, resulting in the
Omnipulus.
The Omnipulus. It is changed. It is significantly worse. You still keep anti-infantry 2+, anti-monster 4+, but no longer get an additional 3 attacks on your ranged weapons. So it's a lot less consistent on that flamer. The torsion cannon is d6 shots. With the d6 plus 3, it was quite consistent. With just d6, it's not. You probably still take a cheap upgrade like this, just to do random damage here and there, but he's not the guaranteed killer he was.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but he was pretty silly.
Yeah.
All right, so stratagems, they're changed significantly, more so than some of the other ones. All right, first one is Baleful Halo. This was a 1 CP minus 1 to wound previously. Now it's a 2 CP minus 1 to wound in the fight phase.
Yes.
And you can use it on 1 Admech unit, excluding vehicles. And if you use it on a battle line unit, you can then target 1 friendly Skitarii unit within 6 of it to also get the benefit. This is cool, except your opponent will just swing into the non-battle line unit first,
yeah,
and you're never going to get the second
because
effect.
there's not a battle line unit that they're afraid of you interrupting with, so, like, who cares?
Yeah, so this one isn't really that thought out, and this effect happens in multiple stratagems. This is the one where it's especially egregious in how it's just never going to work.
Yeah.
But it was a good idea. Then 1 CP Extinction Order. This actually remained exactly the same. Tech Priest model in your command phase picks an objective within 24. Roll a d6 for each enemy unit on the objective. On a 4-up, they suffer mortal and take a battle shock.
Not bad.
It furthers that battle shock shenanigans that you could potentially do.
At this point, your opponent has to take a lot of battle shock tests.
Yes, indeed. Aggressor Imperative. Used to be Advance and Charge. No longer. That has moved to the Veteran Cohort. 1 CP. It is used in your movement phase. You pick a Skitarii unit from your army that hasn't moved yet. If it's battle line, you can also pick 1 friendly Skitarii unit that isn't battle line within 6. So you can do it on a unit of Iron Striders or one of the tanks, the Skitarii tanks. And so you get flat 6 advance, flat 6 added to your movement.
Seems good.
It's quite strong, especially because you can just be in Conquer protocol and have assault on everything.
Yeah.
So this is very, very nice. It means that you can advance up a unit outside of transport and the transport as well if you want to. Just get extra distance. So I think this is one of the better strats in here. Then 1 CP pre-calibrated purge solution used in your shooting phase. 1 Admech unit that hasn't been selected to shoot. If it's battle line, you can target another friendly Skitarii unit within 6 that isn't battle line. Like I said, this effect is coming up in a lot of places. Till the end of the phase, each time model in those units makes a ranged attack, if the target is within your opponent's deployment zone, not wholly within, just within, you reroll hits.
It's not bad if you're, like, shooting down, especially if you, like, go first and you're shooting at something turn 1.
Yep. Or if you come in from reserve,
Yes.
which is another way to potentially do it. But hey, Admech can get hits, reroll hits.
Ooh, that's pretty
There was
cool.
only a couple previous ways. There's this one more way to get a reroll, which is nice. 1 CP lethal dosage. This is used in your shooting phase. You just get lethal hits.
That's
so-
good.
Manipulus gives lethal hits to the unit he's leading, but if the Manipulus isn't in there, all of a sudden...
Yeah, you can add a different unit.
Yep. Then we got 2 CP, Bulwark Imperative. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. You pick a Skitarii unit. If it's battle line, you can then pick a non-battle line unit within 6 and get 4 up invuln.
It's not terrible.
2 CP though,
It's expensive.
Quite pricey.
You'll use it in a pinch.
Yep, and once again, they will probably target the non-battle line unit first, so you don't get a
and
second
then
unit.
Yeah.
So, bit of a miss there, but the flat 6 movement one is very good. All right, next detachment. Skitarii Hunter Cohort. I'm going to keep calling Veteran Cohort because that is why it is awesome. It is my favorite one,
Yes.
personally. I think it's very exciting, and I think there's a lot of good things about it. So its detachment rule was previewed, I believe. Skitarii Infantry, Mounted, and Iron Strider Ballistari gain Stealth. Dragoons already have it, so they don't gain it.
Yep.
And each time a ranged attack targets a Sikaran unit, Sikarans also have Stealth already. If the attacking model is more than 12 away, you get benefit of cover.
It doesn't matter a
Whoop-de-doo.
ton, but stealth is the big.
If they're getting shot, they're probably in cover.
Yeah.
Or they're dead regardless of cover. But stealth on all your Skitarii infantry, your mounted units, and Iron Strider
That is
Ballistari,
pretty good.
it's a big durability increase. It's because there's no range restriction
Yeah,
with
same
it.
thing with the Vanguard stealth everywhere. It's really actually quite annoying.
It is very annoying, especially for armies that don't have as many rerolls or in as many places. All of a sudden, you have stealth everywhere, and your opponent's like, well, I'm efficient against this unit.
Yeah.
All right, enhancements. Cantic Thrallnet. They brought it back, the name of it. So you put it on a marshal. At the start of the battle round, you select one friendly Skitarii unit within 12. Till the start of the next battle round, you get both Protector and Conqueror. So you get the benefits of both. Is this that impactful? Probably not as much because you're going to see that the others are amazing. But it is something that you could think about running. All right, Clandestine Infiltrator. Skitarii model only. The bearer and the models in the unit they are leading have Infiltrators and Scout 6.
This is what a combination.
We already talked about how, like recently in our videos, how Infiltrator plus Stealth is an amazing combo. This is automatic. You take that, you're like, World Eaters, okay, here's 10 Vanguard with the character.
Votan.
On the line, you can't scout move if you go first, because you're not going anywhere relevant. Or if I go first, I lose my scout move, but then I'm infiltrated right 9 inches away. Move advance up, move block you further. It's done. So, fantastic upgrade. Veiled Hunter goes on the Skitarii Marshal model. After both players have deployed their armies and determined who has the first turn, you select up to 3 Skitarii infantry units from your army and redeploy them. They can go
The
into
good
choose-
redeploy.
It's the good redeploy. It does really benefit a Skitarii infantry heavy army, which is certainly good. It also means that this clandestine infiltrator unit can be targeted by it, which is quite strong. Battle Sphere.
Are Sicarians Skitarii infantry?
Yes, they are.
Oh, so I like that.
Yep, so your infiltrators or your rust stalkers. Yep, as well as Taraxi. So Battlesphere Uplink is the last enhancement. Also very good. It is Fire and Fade. You shoot,
Oh, wow, that's just really good.
and then you move 6 inches back.
Wow.
Can't
like
declare a charge, but boy, is it good.
Yeah.
All right, the stratagems. And if you thought the enhancements were good, get ready for these strats. So, 1 CP Bionic Endurance, your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase. 1 Sikaran, Taraxi, or, crucially, Sidonian unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. 5 of Phenopane.
That's really good.
You know
Can you
those?
just take chickens in 6-mans?
No, you take them in 3-mans.
But still.
But 3 models with T7, 7 wounds, 5 up invuln. That's quite a bit.
Yeah. And armor can tap if they're in your deployment zone.
In your deployment zone, yep. And and they have stealth. So you get 5 of Phenopane on top of that, and your opponent's like, well,
Yeah.
I have to dedicate a lot to whatever, this relatively cheap vehicle unit.
Yeah.
That's a great strat. Benarch Offensive is 2 CP. Start of your shooting phase or the fight phase. 2 Skitarii units from your army that have not selected yet. Till the end of the phase, +1 AP. but those units have to, until the end of the phase, target that single enemy unit.
It's 2 CP, but it's not bad.
2 CP, but +1 AP, and this can stack with the +1 AP from your opponent being in their deployment zone if you're in Conquer.
Yeah, no, pretty
You can
solid.
start punching up.
Yeah.
2 CP is pricey, though.
Yeah.
1 CP Expedited Purge Protocols, used in your charge phase, it's the advance and charge. And now that it's used in the charge phase, you know what you rolled for your advance.
You know what you roll for your charge, too.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Then we've got a 1 CP Isolate and Destroy your shooting phase, 1 Sikaran, Taraxi, Sidonian, Iron Strider Ballistari, or Skitarii Mountain unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, if there are no enemy units within 6, so if this enemy unit is kind of isolated, you get +1 to wound for 1 CP on one unit. But helps you punch up. When you really need to destroy that one thing that's on this flank, boom, you get it. And the edition has become very MSU heavy too.
Yes.
So it's a useful strat. 1 CP Shroud Protocols. 1 CP your Skitarii infantry unit is a lone op.
That's really good.
Can only be targeted by ranged attacks if they're within enemies within 12.
Wow, that's very, very good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Then 1 CP Program Withdrawal. Up to 2 end of your opponent's fight phase, up to 2 Sikaran units or 1 Skitarii infantry or mounted unit. You remove it from the battlefield, put in strat reserve. They can come down as long as the enemy unit's not within 3.
Very, very good.
Come down the next turn.
Very, very good.
Well, I guess it doesn't say it comes down the next turn. So
you just put in strat
technically,
reserves,
they're just in strat reserves. But that's a suite of strats right there.
Yeah, those are all
is a
good.
Suite of strats.
All good.
Okay.
The Datasheet Conclave.
This next one is the Cult Mechanicus one. So if you like Skitarii, like the previous one, if you like Cult Mech, this is the one that buffs Cult Mech. So Datasheet Conclave, its detachment rule is Benedictions of the Omnissiah, and at the start of the first battle round, you select one of the 2 different Benedictions to be active for your army until the end of the battle. The first one is a shooting one, the second one is a combat one. So Panegyric Procession is each time a Cult Mech model from your army makes a ranged attack that targets a unit within half range, +1 AP. So your Cataphrons can go from AP2 to AP3, which is a huge breakpoint, especially against Armor Contempt. But your Corpuscari can all of a sudden get AP.
Your Castellans with the Phosphor Blasters.
So it doesn't affect as many units because it's Cult Mech model. The thing that would have been really good here is if it said Cult Mech unit, because the Tech Priests have Cult Mech and they can go in Skitarii units. So you could have done shenanigans that way, but Games Workshop saw through that. Then Citation and Savagery, however, was each time a Cult Mech unit from your army is selected to fight, if that unit made a charge move, you get +1 strength and attacks. So a Tech Priest can join the Skitarii unit, give the unit Cult Mech keyword, and it can do the combat buff, but not the shooting one.
That's not bad, though.
It's not bad.
I mean, like, Skitarii with +1 strength and AP actually are like a real unit.
+1 attack.
Sorry, attack.
Strength and attacks.
Strength and attacks. Yeah.
Yep. All right. But you can't do it on, like, Rust Stalkers where you really want it because they can't be led by a character
Sad.
that has Cult Mech. Okay. Enhancements. Mechanicus Locum. Goes on, all these go on Tech Priests. Bearer gets leadership 6+, and once per game at the start of any phase, you can select a friendly Cult Mech unit that's battle shocked within 12 and unbattle shock them.
That's not bad.
Totally solid. Yep. Admech is one of the armies that suffers with poor leadership, but this is a little helpful tool. Mantle of the Gnosticar.
Gnostiarch?
Yeah,
who knows?
Who knows how to pronounce it? Somebody's going to get very technical in chat, and I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
But each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, you change damage to 1.
That's pretty good.
So it's like the Votan Uthar.
Uthar, yeah.
This is less good for me. I want unit buffs.
Yeah, the problem is that, if your character's getting shot, they're not doing anything.
And it's still going to probably die even to damage 1.
Yeah.
Then Data Blessed Auto Sermon is once per battle at the start of your command phase. You can select the Benediction of the Omnissiah you didn't select at the start of the first battle round. Till the start of your next command phase, that one is active in addition for the bearer's unit, in addition to the army one.
So you get both.
You get both, but only for 1 unit, which is a little annoying, but still worth taking, I'm sure. And then Tempercopia is Fight First. This obviously goes in a Tech Priest in a Breacher unit and makes them quite a bit more annoying to charge.
Yeah, or can you give it to the the little baby tech priest that joins the big robots.
The cybernetica.
Cybernetica Datasmith.
I believe he has Tech Priest.
Okay,
we will find out.
We'll find out.
We will check. All right, there's stratagems. So this, you can tell that this was written a little bit a while ago because Incantation of the Iron Soul is 1 CP. Any phase just after you allocate a mortal wound to a cult mech model from your army, that cult mech unit gets a 4-up Phenopain against mortals. Amazing before the dev wounds change.
No, it's very...
More situational.
If you're playing Death Guard 1000, sometimes it's not bad, but like...
Now it's quite a bit more niche.
Yeah.
But it would have been a banger of a strat.
Oh, it would have been amazing.
Then we've got 1 CP Chant of the Remorseless Fist. Fight phase. You pick a cult mech unit, and you get +1 to wound in melee. Quite solid.
Good.
Quite solid. Very solid strat. 1 CP Verse of Vengeance. Fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected targets, you pick a cult mech unit, and 4-up Fight on Death.
Not like useful all the time, but when you need to use it, it's pretty solid.
Exactly. 1 CP. It's still the 4-up. I really don't like 4-up.
Yeah.
So
the problem is you could spend the CP and then like roll like a bunch of 1s and 2s, and you spend the CP to have one dude fight, and it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, it's not a consistent type of CP.
You use it like if you're like, man, I could kill this unit right now, I need to just finish off the last wound, then not bad. But
yeah, if it's like a swing on Purge the Foe or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Tribute of the Emphatic Veneration. 1 CP, start of your movement phase. You pick 1 cult mech unit from your army and 1 enemy unit within 18 of it. So this is before you move. That enemy unit takes a battle shock test, and if the test is failed, they are -1 to hit.
It's not terrible, because you can make him take a weird out-of-sequence battle shock test at the start of your movement phase.
Yep.
So you can be like, oh, your Wraith Guard can't Phantasm. Or something like that.
Well, Eldar have a thing called Fate Dice.
Okay, well...
But against other armies, it could work.
Yeah.
And it does not require visibility, which is nice, but you don't get to move, so your opponent has to be within 18 of you. Alright, Litany of the Electromancer. 1 CP, your shooting phase, you pick 1 cult mech unit, roll the d6 for each enemy unit within 6 of 1 or more cult mech models from your unit, +1 to the result if they're Electro Priests. On a 5+, they suffer D3 mortals. So on a 4, they would suffer D3 mortals near Electro Priests. This is a nice splash mortals.
Yeah, you could just take 1 big unit of the Skitarii and run them forward and then just be like, ah!
Everything in your army is going to potentially take D3 mortals. Or you can do it twice. Send the first unit out, then relay a second unit out of the transport.
I don't hate this.
I think it's actually pretty strong,
yeah.
Honestly. I think it will be used quite a bit. Luminescent Blessing is 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase, 1 cult mech unit. Till the end of the phase, you get 4-up invul, which is
not bad for 1 CP.
Means that when you run the Tech Priest Dominus in your Breacher unit, you can get the 4-up invul through this stratagem rather than through the Manipulus. All right, and that's that detachment. Next up, the Explorator Maniple. So this one is pretty interesting because it's based around certain objectives. So a detachment rule is acquisition at any cost. Start of your command phase, you pick 1 objective marker. Till the start of your next command phase, it's your acquisition objective marker. And each time an Admech model from your army makes an attack, if the model's unit is within range of the acquisition marker, or if the target of the attack is within range of it, you reroll wounds of 1.
That's not terrible.
It's not bad. It's not bad. And there are ways to interact with it. So the enhancements, Magos is, each of these goes on a Tech Priest as well. End of your command phase, if the bearer is within range of your acquisition objective marker, you roll a d6. On a 4-up, you gain a CP. So this is one of the few CP regen abilities Admech has.
I don't hate it. It's very situational, but it's like you're probably going to get a CP, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Of course, the game.
Genitor is while the bearer is leading a unit that's within range of the objective marker, the acquisition one. You get 4-up invul. Once again, bad. It's cool. It's only for 1 unit, but still a solid buff. Then Logi is while the bear is leading unit. Each time it makes an attack that targets a unit within range of that acquisition objective marker, +1 to hit. Also solid.
Does the objective you pick have to be in the middle field? You can pick any objective?
Any objective.
So you could pick your home fields.
You could pick
and
your
like get all the benefits off that. That's not terrible.
Yep, you totally can. And then you've got the Artisan, which is while the bear is leading a unit within range of your objective marker, your chosen one. Once per phase, you can change the result of a hit, wound, or saving throw to a unmodified 6.
Not bad.
It's not bad. All right, the stratagems, most of which revolve around this acquisition objective marker. So we have cached acquisition is any phase, 1 CP. One Admech unit from your army that was just destroyed while within range of an objective marker you controlled, you sticky it.
That's
So
good.
it's very much like the World Leaders
yeah.
stratagem. So that's a very strong strat. This is very strong as well. So against armies that want to play a little more patient and cagey, you can punish them for doing so.
I want to shoot you off an objective.
Priority Reclamation is 1 CP. Fight phase just before an Admech unit from your army consolidates. Until the end of the phase, you get to pile and consolidate 6 inches instead of 3, provided you end within range of the acquisition objective marker.
This is very niche. It could theoretically help, but boy, is it niche.
It is. Info Slave Skull is 1 CP your command phase. You pick 1 Tech Priest model from your army and 1 objective marker within 24 of that model, not including your current acquisition one. Till the start of your next command phase, that objective marker is also considered to be your acquisition objective marker for all rule purposes.
This helps a lot.
This is the strat that you spam.
Every turn.
Is you're like, okay, these 2 objectives. I'm going to hold this one and string out my fire base so that I'm touching it and shoot there. And then, let me reread the thing again. Each time an Admech model from your army makes an attack, if the model's unit is within range of the acquisition objective marker, or if the target is, you reroll wounds at 1. So as long as the model's unit is within range.
Yes, you pick your home field objective every turn.
Exactly, and you can string out into the middle, and then whatever objective your opponent has, you're like, all of a sudden, that one as well.
Yep.
Auto-Oracular Retrieval. That's quite a name.
Why
2 CP. Your shooting phase. 1 Admech unit from your army that disembarked from a transport. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack that targets an enemy unit within range of the acquisition objective marker, +1 to wound.
Not bad.
And you're going to see that the transport, the Scorpius Dune Riders...
is much better.
Yeah, it switched its datasheet rule to reroll wounds when it hits something. Whatever disembark rerolls wounds against that target. So this is 2 CP, so getting reroll wounds +1 to wound... It means you can punch up significantly against something, but 2 CP is pricey. However, this is the one where you can get the 4-up CP regen, which is nice. Or additional CP. 1 CP Incense Exhausts your opponent's shooting phase. 1 Admech infantry unit from your army, and 1 or more of the attacking units or 1 friendly Admech smoke unit within 6. So 1 infantry unit, 1 Admech smoke unit within 6. They both get stealth and the benefit of cover.
So basically it's 1 CP for smoking 2 targets.
Yep.
It's not bad, but I don't know if I'd want to give up a stratagem slot for it.
You also have to have these units close enough because you have to target both of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a little restrictive in that sense.
Yeah.
1 CP Reactive Safeguard, your opponent's charge phase. They declare charge against your Admech infantry unit. That is... Every model is within 3 of the transport, and it has capacity. You can get in. So
it's not bad, and especially into pure melee armies like World Leaders.
Yep, it's quite good. Okay, so that's the Explorator. And then we have the Cohort cybernetica. Take it away, Quentin.
Okay, so this is the big robot detachment. I like the robots. Did you know I used to play these guys?
They're cool.
They're really cool. Yeah. So, Cyber-Psalm programming. Legio cybernetica units from your army gain the Doctrina Imperatives army rule. So big robots now get it, which is pretty cool. So enhancements, the first one is Necromechanic. Tech Priest model only, once per battle rounds, when a saving throw is made for a friendly Legio Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle model within 12 inches of the bearer is failed, you can change the damage to 0. That's pretty good.
Yep, if you're taking this, you're definitely taking that.
Absolutely. That first last cannon, no. Lord of Machines, Tech Priest model only. Once per turn, at the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select 1 enemy vehicle unit within 12, invisible to the bearer. That unit must take a leadership test. If that test is passed until the end of the phase, each time a model and that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. If that test has failed, that unit is not eligible to shoot this phase. This is pretty situational. The problem is at the start of your opponent's shooting phase.
Invisible.
Invisible, so they can just back up a little bit.
12.1.
Yeah. But it depends on the cost. It could be not bad. If its effect goes off, it's pretty good.
Yeah. If they can't shoot a key unit, it's awesome, but your opponent's probably not going to put the key unit there.
Yeah. Emotionless Clarity, tech priest model only, once per turn when a friendly Legio, Cybernetica, or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle, model with a deadly demise that is within 12 inches of the bearer is destroyed. The bearer can use this enhancement. Basically, you don't roll for a deadly demise, you just decide if it's going to blow up or not.
Auto.
I like this one. I think it's fun. Okay. Arch Negator, tech priest model only, ranged weapons have the anti-vehicle 4+.
Yeah, the bearer.
The bearer.
It's like, no.
Do they have devils?
The Manipulus does.
Oh. I mean, it's not bad.
On the torsion cannon, but now it's just D6
shots.
But yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
Every one of these strats is 1 CP, and they're all used in your command phase.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I didn't know that. Okay. Motive Imperative. Target 1 Admech vehicle from your army. They're all used in your command phase? Jesus Christ. Oh, because it's like the boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's actually
they're being programmed.
Kind of like that, yeah. 1 Admech vehicle from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, +3 move, +1 advance and charge. Not bad.
It's okay.
Auto Divinatory Targeting, Legio, Cybernetica, or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle from your army, and 1 objective marker. Until the start of your next command phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have BS3+, and the ignores cover ability, but they can only target units on... Basically, you pick one of your units and an objective marker, and you can only shoot a unit on that objective marker. This is very restrictive.
You don't say.
Yeah, okay. Machine Spirit Resurgent. 1 Legio Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle unit from your army that is below starting strength. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. If your unit is below half strength, you can roll the wound roll as well. This isn't bad if you have like one vehicle at like a wound that survived and you're like 1 CP, 4 rolls to hit and wound.
Yeah,
it's not
once again, it just like it's very situational.
Very situational. Machine Superiority. 1 Legio Cybernetica vehicle. It's Legio Cybernetica or Admech vehicle from your army. Till the end of your turn, your unit's eligible to shoot in a turn which it fell back, and you can ignore any roll modifiers to its characteristics and or save or roll or test made for it.
This one's good.
This one's pretty good. Okay. Transcendent Cogitation. 1 Legio Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus fuel from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, the Conquer Imperative and Protector Imperative are both active. Not bad.
If those rules were stronger, it'd be like really good, but yeah, they're okay.
They're okay. Benevolence of the Omnissiah. 1 Legio Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle from your army. Until the start of your command phase, they have Feel No Pain 6+, which is improved to Feel No Pain 5+ against mortal wounds. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Unfortunately, nothing here
awesome.
Dramatically elevates.
There are a lot of like very niche strats. The fact that you have to use them all in your command phase is kind of annoying.
There's nothing reactive here.
Yeah.
There's nothing where you're outplaying. It's just, I do this, I get this buff, and that's it.
Yeah.
So this one is...
It's a cool like idea behind it, but I don't know.
That one's the big miss for me.
Yeah,
I don't think it was executed well whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, because the robots have been like crying for life, and Games Workshop is like, get back in there. We don't like how you look.
I think they're cool.
Okay. So, going into the data sheet. So, those are the detachments. My big synopsis is I think the cohort, Skitarii cohort,
yes,
is amazing.
Yes.
I think that the Rad cohort and the Explorator one are like right behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to run Cult Mech,
I don't think the Psalm is that bad.
I think it's solid. I think if you want to spam Breachers and that's what you want to do, go for it, because it'll buff that build.
Yeah, and then the robot one's kind of a miss.
Yeah, it's a pretty big miss. The Cult Mech one, like when I read it, I thought it was like right up there, but I think it just doesn't give enough tools, and it doesn't have as much like automatic like this is amazing. Whereas the Veteran Cohort one is just like whoa, I have like every tool that I could possibly want.
Yeah, that was really good.
I just play the mission supremely well, and I have all this synergy. So I'm leaning towards that one. But the Cult Mech one, if you want to stick with the Breacher spam builds, I think it is still very strong for doing that. All right, so datasheet changes. Call Stealth Aura was changed to a 6-inch aura benefits of cover, which
that's way worse.
Is not as good because cover is so easy to get,
and
it's if your opponent ignores it, then his ability is pretty useless. Whereas not too many things ignore stealth out there. So that's that. He's like one of the worst pick 3 characters.
Yeah, he's really not good.
Yeah. The Dominus, luckily unchanged, still 5-up Pain for the unit he's leading. Electro Priest get the 4-up. That's all good. The Engine Seer, big tune-up here. He used to give a vehicle that he tried to heal within 3 a 4-up invul. Now he gives a 5-up Pain.
That's way better.
So, like, all of a sudden you're honored a Doomcrawler with a 2-up, 4-up invul. Now also has a 5-up.
Do the robots have a... Do they have vehicle keyword?
Yes, they are vehicles.
So you can give them Funeral Pain?
Yep, you can
That's
get
not bad.
one model.
Oh, that is less good.
Yeah, so it really works on like a big thing that just has a bunch of wounds. Make it super tanky on an objective. And it's especially true if you run the veteran cohort and you have the 5 Pain one, so you have like a brick of Sidonians with 5 Pain, and then you have like this Onager that's also has a 5 Pain and a different objective, and you're like, are you going to get through all this? No. Cool. So that's him. Tech Priest Manipulus, pretty much the same, like I said. Omnipulus, not quite as Omni as before. Okay, Techno-Archaeologists remain the same. Okay, Sidonian Scatros, brand new data sheet. Okay.
Leg man.
He is alone. The stilt man. He is lone up. All right. He moves 8, T4, 4-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 7, 1 OC, 5-up invul, stealth and lone up. He's got Doctrinas. He has a pistol, and then he has 2 options for guns. Both are 36-inch range. Both are one shot. Both hit on 3s. One is the Radium Jezzail, which is the same profile you've been seeing. Strength 5, AP2, flat 3, anti-infantry 3+, heavy precision. Or he has the Scatros Transrhinic Arquebus, which is exactly the same. Strength 7, AP2, D3 damage. Anti-monster 4+, anti-vehicle 4+, heavy precision. His rule is that if he hits an enemy unit, they take a battle shock test. And then his Achillean Eye is each time he makes an attack with the Radium Jezzail that targets an infantry unit, you reroll wounds. Each time he makes an attack with the Arquebus against a monster or vehicle, reroll wounds. So,
very fine.
Yeah. I was hoping for a better rule. Than forcing a battle shock test. I can imagine running multiple in the Rad cohort one and just go purely...
You take 100 battle shocks.
You take so many battle shocks that you're going to just be sick of the rule. But outside of that, maybe you just have one hanging around as a lone up. But he is decidedly mediocre.
Yeah, he's very mediocre.
I thought he would be able to sit there and do a little bit of damage.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, the Marshal... He remained similar. He still gives the full rerolls to hit when he's in the Skitarii units, and then once per turn with his Servoscope uplink, you can target the unit with a stratagem, even if the stratagem has been used before, but doesn't make it free, and that's unfortunate because if you can use it multiple times, that means your opponent is probably vecting it, and you're not making it free, so you're not making it cheaper. So that's I think once again in just pre-FAQ this was written. It'd be nice if they come back and just fix it.
Yeah.
Skitarii Rangers, exactly the same. They stick you the objectives. They do their thing. They got their scout move. The Vanguard still subtract 1 from the OC. Otherwise, basically the same. They're all stuck at 10 mans. Okay, Cataphront Breachers, they kept the good data sheet rule of reroll 1s, or if they're within 6 of battle line, full rerolls to hit. But they lost 6 inches of range on their gun, which is rapid fire. So the rapid fire is 4 shots within 15 inches now.
Not 18.
Not 18.
Yeah.
And you might say that's not a huge difference, but 36-inch range and then 18-inch, it is
significant.
Relatively significant, especially because they move 5 inches. Now they have Doctrinas, so they can advance and shoot in the Conqueror protocol, but it's still, that 6 inches really helped them.
Yeah.
But it does mean that with that half range cult mech detachment, you're really trying to get within half range. Okay, Destroyer stayed the same. Corpuscari, huge upgrade here. Their datasheet rule used to be the same as Fulgurites, which was the -1 to wound if a character was leading them. They no longer have that, only Fulgurites do. But instead, they gained, in their shooting phase, you select one enemy unit that was hit by their attacks, that's not a monster or vehicle. That unit is shocked, -2 to move, advance, and charge rolls. So you can disembark from a transport, hit them at an angle, and then really cripple your opponents.
That's pretty good.
To get back after you. Yep. Or something like, I guess, Wraithguard want a Phantasm, but they've they measure that full distance, and you're like, what about if you're -2 to that? You're like, I can't fully get behind the room.
Pain.
All right, Fulgurites still have a horrible combat profile. It's embarrassing. Skarn Infiltrators, they got a nice little glow up on their datasheet. So their new rule is voices in the code. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit in engagement range takes a battle shock test, which is nice because you can string that unit out. And then their aura ability is similar. It's enemy units within 6 are -1 to battle shock and leadership tests. If they're within 6 of a battle line unit, it's -2 to those tests.
This actually could go pretty well in the Rad Cohort one.
It really could.
With some
Once again,
catchresses.
get a lot of battle shocks going, and then you have all these minuses that start stacking.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Ruststalkers, still the same exact thing. Taraxi. Skystalkers remain the same with their shoot and scoot, but Sterilizers get a nice benefit. They used to have on a 4-up, if they hit their target, they would take the -2 to move and all that stuff. Corpuscari got it automatically, so better rule there. They instead get reroll 1s to wound if they target an enemy unit on an objective, or if they're within 6 of a battle line unit, full rerolls to wound.
That is pretty good.
And like
It's
I said,
really good.
there's ways to get extra AP in here, so their flamers can all of a sudden start punching up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Cerberus Raiders, exactly the same, as well as Sulphur Hounds. Okay, the Datasmith, they did put in the rule where if he's joined to Cataphrons, they lose the infantry keyword. Like
What?
He doesn't give them the infantry keyword.
Oh.
Well, because the thing is, the robots don't have the infantry keyword. The robot models never got the infantry keyword, but him joining them would make the unit have the infantry
So
keyword.
anti-infantry would work.
Exactly. So they fixed that. And now you don't have to roll your test for the battle protocols. Just at the start of the battle, if he's leading Cataphron robots, then you start in Aegis or Aegis, and then your command phase, if you're still leading them, you get to switch.
He is a tech priest.
Yep. So he can do the thing, the swapping. Stellan robots, still the same thing. I wish they got a bit of an upgrade over here, but their weapons are still very mediocre.
Yeah.
Frankly, especially an army with not as many rerolls. Yeah. Cool. They might have even lost a movement. They might have moved 7 and now move 6.
Move 6 hurts.
Yeah. Okay, Iron Strider Ballistari, they used to have the rule where they can fall back, shoot, and charge. They changed it. So now Iron Striders, which is the shooty variant, can advance and shoot or fall back and shoot, as well as reroll their desperate escape test.
That's pretty good.
Just on their data sheet, so now they don't have to be in Conqueror to get the advance and shoot.
Yeah.
And then Dragoons, which we'll see in a second, have the fallback and charge, or advance and charge inbuilt to their data sheets.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Which is very nice.
Yeah.
So that's the main change there. Weapons are pretty much the same. Okay, Dragoons are split off. There's a Taser unit, and there's a Radium Giselle unit, because you would never see the Radium Giselle.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah, the weapon is still bad. So Sidonian Dragoons are, like I said, advance and charge, or fall back and charge, and reroll their desperate escapes. And then Sidonian Dragoons with the Radium Giselles are, at the start of the battle, you pick one enemy unit from your opponent's army, and until the end of the battle, each time you make an attack that targets them, you reroll hits. Which, it's a one-shot little sniper.
Why are their snipers hit on force? Is it because they're bouncing up and down on top of the...
There should be some stabilization.
There
platforms,
probably
but
should be.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's like this is now a new data sheet that you could spam even more Dragoon bodies. So all those people who were upset that Iron Strider chassis are so cheap compared to their price point, their dollar amount.
Now you get more.
Now you could take even more. Thanks, Games Workshop. Then we got Scorpius Disintegrator, basically unchanged here. Now the transport I mentioned, the Dune Rider, it finally did get twin linked on its Rapid 9 Sustain 1
Oh, that's fun.
thing, so it's quite good amount
This thing
of
actually
firepower.
shoots a lot.
It does.
Wow.
It really does. And then on top of that, it has fire support now. Instead of being able to advance and disembark, which was a good ability, it now has you disembark, and if the transport hit a enemy unit and you target it with the unit that disembark, you get reroll wounds.
That's pretty good.
So you have a marshal in a 10-man unit of Skitarii, get out of the transport hits something, reroll hits, reroll wounds. and there are ways to further buff that with other abilities. So,
unfortunately, the transport only has the one gun, so you can't give it like. Can you give it like an extra heavy stubber or something?
no.
Sad.
Yeah. Okay, Onager Doomcrawler also changed. Its weapons are still pretty mediocre, but it has the Aminatus force field instead of its previous detachment datasheet rule. So while a friendly Admech battle line model is wholly within 6 of this model, you get 4 up info from ranged attacks, which is quite nice. It means you don't have to spend that strat from the first detachment or whatever. Now it is wholly within, but there are ways to kind of cheese that by putting it like wholly behind a terrain feature with the unit strung out to the center, holding the objective with the 4 up invuln, and you just pull back. So I think running one is going to be pretty common.
I think I like one. Also, just shoot kind of hard too. So
Not hard, but
they shoot.
They do resolve.
They have guns.
They resolve ranged attacks at some point in the game. Okay, the Fuselav I think it's relatively unchanged. The Stratoraptor, same exact thing. There's not a lot of love for flyers. And the Transvector can hover and still come in from reserves.
You wouldn't own any Admech flyers, would you?
I do happen to own all of them, but they have not seen the table in a while. So Transvector can still come in battle rounds, reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phase. So you can come in and do a decent amount of damage. There is alpha strike potential, but it's still a pretty pricey chassis. And those are all the data sheets. So
that is Admech.
I am very excited for the Skitarii one.
Yes.
I think that one is standout. It's very similar to the Space Marine Vanguard build, and that already does very well, and I expect Admech to take advantage of it. Now, the army still isn't like... It's not really the damage type of army it was in 9th edition, but it has a lot more synergy now and a lot more interesting rules, especially with that cohort. But I think there's at least 3, if not 4 detachments that are all interesting. Rad cohort being just spam as many battle shock tests as possible could be really strong and interesting. I have to put that on the table. The Explorator and being able to pick 2 objectives and get the reroll 1s to wound and a variety of other buffs is also pretty interesting. There are some hoops you have to jump through. And then the Cult Mech one, if you do want to spam breachers, I still think that's really strong. So
yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of options here, which is a heck of a lot more than you could say previously. And I'm excited to see where Admech goes. I'm going to be playing the Veteran Cohort one. Like I said, there's going to be an Admech versus Necrons game in the War Room as you are watching this. So please do check it out in the warroom.vhx.tv. Become Your Best is the code to get 50% off your first month. And there will be plenty more content coming up. I'm going to break down all the detachments, all the list concepts, plenty more games for the coming weeks, like lots and lots of games, because I'm going to be very pumped on this. Other things I would say is that, yes, there are points in the Codex, but Games Workshop has shown with the Codex, Space Marines, and Tyranids that those are entirely irrelevant. So we're not going to go through them. Instead, we are going to wait until they release a Minotaur and Field Manual, which we expect will happen. And when that happens, we will then have a separate video breaking down our thoughts on the points and big winners and losers. But for now, we are going to just end the review here after going through that. But needless to say, I'm very excited about several of these detachments, and Admech has way more play than they previously did. And they're fun interactions. Being able to get excited about Admech is awesome.
They really are. Yeah.
So, hope everybody enjoyed this one. Please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below letting us know what you think of the review, and also what you're most excited for Admech. And hope to see you in the War Room with our subscription and get access to some of these sweet games.
All right. See you guys later.
Thank you so much. Day. And we'll see you all very, very soon for plenty more Admech content. Omnissiah protects.